All right, we're going to get right into it. And you've probably heard a lot of people talk about fear manifesting, that you can manifest what you fear. And I'm going to break it down for you why they're saying this and what it's really about. Most people, when they manifest, they are playing a game of I don't want loss. I don't want to lose. They're not playing a game of I want to win. Their main emotional focus is fearing loss. Especially the more that you have, the greater that this grows, the bigger your fear becomes because you have more to lose. Okay, so most people are not playing to win, meaning they're not thinking about creating their dream life, creating their dream relationship, their dream bank account, their dream money, their dream body, their dream experience, trip. Most people are in a loop, which is where the fear comes in. They're in a loop of, it'd be nice if things would change. I'm thinking I would like something more. But once they kind of trip that switch, their subconscious kicks in and is like, wait a second, more is unknown. More different is unsafe. That means if we risk, we face loss. So what kind of companies prey on that? So many, right? Especially insurance. It's like if you venture outside of your comfort zone, your subconscious trips this switch that's like, wait a second, my job here, and I'm in control, is to keep you alive. And I can't do that if I am dealing with things I don't know how they turn out. Okay, so this is the subconscious fear. This right here is yourself, your self-conscious. And it wants to win. Your unconscious just wants to experience a lot of things that you've known already, okay? Which is why when you're unconsciously going through life, you're just repeating what felt decent enough in the past. But yourself, when it sees somebody else, something that's calling to you, or it sees something that is exciting and new, it says, I want this. I want to manifest this. And then this kicks in. And you go right back around in the cycle again. So let me explain more about the loss, because the loss is because there's no negation in manifesting. I don't want to lose money. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to feel pain. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to be sick or unhealthy or not good looking or in any way rejected. But there's no negation in the universe. There's only abundance and fulfillment. So what the subconscious hears is you putting all this attention on these things, right? Your free will is essentially equal to your attention. Wherever you place it, you're going to expand things. You're flowing your energy to those things. And when your energy, your focus is on, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to lose money, I don't want to be lonely, I don't want to be in pain, I don't want to lose my job, I don't want to be sick, I don't want to lose. You're essentially programming yourself to lose. Because you're not focused on what you want to create. And essentially, you are a creator. So, we're gonna kind of take this full circle. I always talk about the fact that, let's put you right here. You're having all these little downloads, this energy coming to and through you. It's coming down from source, through you, and around, right? And this is the earth. And what happens is that, I lost my train of thought. This energy is what, the way that you use it is to focus and choose what you want to experience more of. So when this goes around like this, right, it creates this little fishbowl around you. I call it a fishbowl. And essentially what you're swimming around in, right, what's attracted to you in this fishbowl are the things that you choose in your mind and in your heart. There is more to that, but this is the intro to what I believe is how you, quote unquote, create your reality. You're creating basically an atmosphere around you where source and earth are together bringing you the cooperative components of what you imagine and feel. So the more your attention is on what you don't want, the more your reticular activating system, which is basically like your finding system, sees those things. Like, let's say you have a good job, a job you love, it's paying you well, you worked really quote unquote hard to get it. And then someone at your job is like, oh, there's layoffs. And then you hear from your best friend, oh, there's a recession. And then you're like, oh my God, I better turn on the news and see what they're saying. And they're saying, it's really bad. And every time you hear this thing, it reinforces your fear of loss of your job. Pretty soon, it's all you're talking about, it's all you're hearing, and it's all you're seeing, because that's how your free will saturates your environment. Now, let's say you're thinking, oh, I love my job, but I know it's, and it's never this straightforward, and there's a lot to it, but this is step one, is understanding how your choice creates your environment. And so you're like, I know I can get a job that pays me twice as much. And if I land a big client and I get a little more training, or I go back to school, or I change companies, or I start my own company, I can increase my money. And again, you might say the people in your environment are used to you being on a certain level. And you might tell them, oh, I wanna start my own company. And they're like, no, didn't you hear? Everybody's losing money. Everybody's losing their job. You should be happy with what you have. You should stay there. Don't take this risk. And there is no telling, like, part of this system is you learning really important lessons, because the part of you that's up here is soul, right? This is your superconscious. And it doesn't care about any of these things. It just looks like at you is an experience and you evolving. It doesn't care about time. It doesn't care about money. It doesn't care about anything that's of the 3D, right? So part of this orchestration up here is, it is within your control, but it is not necessarily in your direct control of how it happens, which is why you have to build a level of trust to stand on. And the bigger your level of trust to stand on in yourself, and your, which is the reason for the game, is to learn that you can do whatever you want and succeed unless you give up. That's the bigger your pedestal you build under yourself. That's how you start building a pedestal under yourself.